Detroit. They're going for the gold. Metro Detroit skaters following their Olympic dreams to the Winter Games in Nagano, Japan.
Obviously, the Olympic gold medal to me would be an end to an incredible career.
Tens of thousands try, but only a few make it to the U.S. Olympic team. Nearly half of the Olympic skaters are from Metro Detroit. What makes these athletes soar to the top?
Every day they come in, and there's no reserve. It's always push, push, push. Do it no matter what.
62 CBS has the in-depth story. Our 62 CBS team goes behind the scenes as these Detroit athletes train. What does it take to succeed? What lessons can we learn from them? And in-depth profiles. Detroit restaurateur Joe Muir, CBS News Magazine. Now from the 62 CBS Broadcast Center in Detroit, here is Rich Make.
Good evening. Detroit's athletes are going for the gold. Many of the athletes Metro Detroit is sending to the Olympics are skaters who have trained in Bloomfield Hills. Their hard work and dedication bringing them one step closer to their dream of Olympic gold. 62 CBS wanted to know what drives these local Olympians to their success. What can we all learn from their dedication? 62 CBS has the in-depth story. Tuesday, just this past week, excitement fills Metro Airport as Detroit's Olympic contenders get ready to go for the gold.
We're all healthy, so that's a key point right there, and everybody feels good.
Healthy and hopeful, Detroit's own Todd Eldridge and Tara Lipinski joined their teammates for one last picture on American soil. Then it was on to prepare for their own shot at Olympic fame.
Obviously, you know, expectations are always high. You know, you want to go there, you want to skate your best, and you know, everybody wants to win, but you know, only one guy can win. So you know, hopefully that'll be me, and it would be nice.
The local Olympians will have thousands of Metro Detroiters cheering them on as they join 3,000 participants in Nagano, Japan. All 6 of them train at the Detroit Skating Club right here in Bloomfield Hills, where the energy level is building day by day.
It's exciting because I know all these kids real close, and I've seen them all grow and develop, and I know they'll all do well.
These 6 athletes make up nearly half of the entire U.S. figure skating team. 62 CBS wanted to know what makes these skaters so special. So our 62 CBS team spent days in training with the Olympic athletes, talking to them and their coaches, their parents, and their peers. And the answer that kept coming up:
What separates them or makes them the elite skaters that they are is that every day they come in, and there's no reserve. It's always push, push, push. Do it no matter what.
After spending just minutes with any of the skaters, you get a sense of that motivation. First, 15-year-old single skater Tara Lipinski, the youngest world and national figure skating champion in sports history. She hit the ice at the age of 6 and has glided forward ever since.
I always dreamed of the '98 Olympics, you know, making the Olympic team, and that was pretty much my goal.
Leaving her father behind in her hometown of Houston, she moved to Detroit with her mom during the 1995-96 season to train with Todd Eldridge's coach, Richard Callahan. Todd himself has followed the legendary coach around the country. Moving to Detroit 5 years ago, he trains hours on end, day after day. After 5 national wins, Todd returns to the Olympics for his second spin.
Actually, I've been looking forward to it ever since I was in the games in '92 in Albertville. I had a back injury that year, so I didn't get to compete the way that I wanted to.
Also on their second skate around Olympic ice are the Pontiac pair of Elizabeth Punselin and Jared Swallow. 5-time national champions, the dance duo met 9 years ago, fell in love, and became partners not only on the ice, but in life. They told 62 CBS it's the spirit of the city that keeps them going when times get tough.
When we were at the last Olympics, everyone just opened their arms and cheered us on and helped us get through the hard times that go along with, you know, the pressures of the Olympics.
They're hoping their experience will help newcomers Jessica Joseph and Charles Butler as they compete in the Olympic pairs competition. The local junior world champions surprised everyone, qualifying for the Olympics during their first performance at the senior national level. It's stories like that that are motivating skaters all over Metro Detroit.
This definitely motivates you because you see everybody else going to the Olympics and you're like, I want to go too. So it just makes you work harder to get to the top faster.
Of over 59,000 competitive skaters registered with the U.S. Figure Skating Association, only 13 made it to the Olympic team this year. What made these skaters soar to the top? Some say it's simply talent, but St. Clair Shore skating coach Diana Ronayne says it takes a lot more.
Talent is part of it. But there's been many talented skaters or talented athletes all over. or intelligent people in life that don't come to fruition or don't reach a peak. And it has to do with that perseverance and having a dream and working towards it and knowing how to get there.
Westland's Larry and Georgia Hartzell have watched their children pursue that dream. Many believe Steve and Danielle Hartzell are among the next generation of Olympic contenders.
It's such a commitment, the things they give up, you know, the school life and friends and doing homework in a car on going back and forth to the rink.
Detroit Skating Club coach Mitch Moyer says it all comes down to discipline.
You have to be willing to fight through hard times, because along your career you're going to come up to obstacles that you've got to fight through.
11-year-old Brooke Castile from Grosse Pointe Woods is mesmerized by that discipline. She hopes to go on to the Olympics herself someday. But in the meantime, she told 62 CBS there are lessons we can all learn from Detroit's Olympic contingent.
You can learn that even if you fall or you mess up, you can keep going and you can't stop, you can't quit. You got to show that you're the best and you can do whatever you want if you put your heart to it.
Lessons we all can use. After spending the last few months with these athletes, our 62 CBS team has noticed some traits that all the athletes share. You can see the passion that they have for their sport, how focused they are on their goals, and that each of them is determined to beat the odds. What can we all learn from them? When 62 CBS returns, former Olympic skater Christopher Bowman and the coach who works with Detroit's Olympic skating contenders, Johnny Johns, on success and going for our goals, and what the weeks ahead hold for our Olympic athletes.
In-Depth Detroit, a 62 CBS weekly news magazine will return. Detroit 62 CBS, Big Time TV. Weekly news magazine continues.
20 Olympic athletes have traveled from Metro Detroit to Nagano, Japan. 6 of them Olympic skaters. What is it that will keep them focused? What will bring them success? Joining 62 CBS is former Olympic skater Christopher Bowman and the executive director of the Detroit Skating Club, home of our Olympic skaters, Johnny Johns. We thank you both for being with us, gentlemen. And Christopher, I'd like to start with you. You have been there. As a matter of fact, you've been there twice to the Olympics. What does it feel like to make it to the Olympics?
Well, I often referred to it as being in this, and not in a negative way, please understand, being involved in a tremendously horrific accident, like a plane crash or an auto wreck or a train wreck, that you absolutely walked away from without a scratch. It is almost a surreal kind of experience. You just can't believe that you were actually a part of something like that.
All of these athletes have gone through hundreds of competitions before moving on to the Olympics, but it seems like the pressure would be just that much more enormous. Is it really?
The pressure can be enormous. The endorsement value of the competition, I guess, the whole perception that your whole life and everything that you've worked for 20 plus years, or however long that particular athlete has been involved in the sport leading up to the Olympic Games, everything rides on that. The dreams and aspirations, that everything that you've worked for all of your life has finally come true.
Johnny, let me ask you, do you think that all the skaters that you're sending to the Olympics from the club this year, do they have some special trait in common, all of them?
Well, they all have the dedication and the desire, and they all have that will, that inner will to each day to come in and do even better than what they did the day before. And I think that's really what attributes their success in skating. Yeah, in many ways, the mental aspect of that sport's a lot tougher than the physical aspect, isn't it? I'd say at the level that they're at, it's probably 80% mental attitude, and 20% the skating. We're talking about all these kids. We think about all these young people and all the motivation and all the talent that they have. I was wondering if either of you have ever seen someone make it, maybe that wasn't quite as good, didn't have quite the talent level, but boy, they just had so much motivation.
When I think of a skater who competed maybe on an Olympic level in an area where they had the least amount of talent, I would be remembered to think back to the 1988 Olympic Games of my teammate Brian Boitano, somebody who really epitomizes everything that the Olympic Games stands for, and that is an inner burning desire to be better than anybody else in the world at what you do, and nothing financial or talent or any kind of I guess, setback or obstacle will prevent that person from letting that happen.
What is the key, I guess, for all of us? I don't know whether it's even answerable, but what's the key for all of us to sort of tap into that passion?
I think it's the love of the sport, of what they're doing. Each athlete goes out there to skate their best. At the point they're ready to skate, they're not thinking about money, they're not thinking about endorsements, they're not thinking about medal. It's a personal best that they each want to achieve.
Well, let's ask you, like the kind of thing that we see out there on the ice, Christopher, I'll ask you, how do you think it relates to all of us? What do we take away from what we see out on that ice?
I think we take away from these events, I guess, something that tells us we can never give up on the things that really are important in our heart, things that we dream and believe in that maybe nobody else can see, circumstances that surround our life, obstacles that we must overcome in our personal life. All of these kinds of things are indicative of the Olympian, and I think we all have something to learn by these individuals. And I know for myself, being a former Olympian, it has been life skills that I have carried with me into adulthood and into fatherhood now, and it still plays a very positive impact and role in my life.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. Christopher Bowman, former Olympian, Johnny Jones of the Detroit Skating Club. Thank you so much.
CBS Broadcast Center in Detroit. This Olympic Update.
I'm Ann Parker, Detroit 62 CBS. Some of Michigan's finest athletes are competing in the Winter Games in Nagano, Japan. Skating veteran Todd Eldridge is one of Detroit's Olympians. 62 CBS has been following Todd all year as he trained for gold. Todd Eldridge of Bloomfield Hills is no stranger to skating. For more than 20 years, he's been spinning, sliding, and soaring across the ice. This year, he's back in the Olympic rink, representing the U.S. in Nagano, Japan.
Actually, I've been looking forward to it ever since I was in the games in '92 in Albertville, and I've really been looking forward to trying to get back there. I had a back injury that year, so I didn't get to compete the way that I wanted to.
Todd left the 1992 games without a medal, a memory motivating him still today.
Obviously, the Olympic gold medal to me would be an end to an incredible career. And, you know, I mean, my career's, even if I don't get it, my career's still going to be great. But, you know, it would just make it, you know, the icing on the cake.
Todd started skating when he was just 5 years old. He jumped into competition several years later. His coach, Richard Callahan, has been by his side ever since.
I'm really enthused as far as Todd's concerned because I've had him right since he was 10 years old. So it's a whole progress chain.
A chain that's included 4 national titles and 1 world championship. His skating skills even impressed rising star Tara Lipinski.
He's such a great technician, and he can go out there and work hard every day and still make it, so he's a great one.
Todd's trying to stay on top of the skating world. He trains day in and day out to make his performances perfect.
Anytime you're coming up on an Olympic year, you know, the preparations are always a little exciting, and you're anxious to get there, you know, to get to the games and you know, hopefully do your best.
Todd Eldridge, he's proudly representing Metro Detroit at the Olympic Games in Nagano, Japan. 62 CBS salutes Michigan's great athletes. We'll continue to follow their progress. Keep punching 62 for the Olympics, a big-time TV event only on Detroit 62 CBS, big-time TV. We'll go back to Nagano, Japan in just a minute. Enjoy the Olympics. For 62 CBS, I'm Ann Parker.